When I first started learning Chinese, I went about it as like an autodidact. I went all on my own. So I can do this language by myself. I don't need a teacher or a university or anything like that. And in some ways I was right, in some ways I was wrong. The advantages of doing it this way is that, I eventually, from the internet and all these other resources, reading books on my own, I found some incredibly effective techniques for acquiring Chinese, which are actually effective, which is fantastic. The disadvantage of doing it all on your own is that, you lack structure, you lack feedback, objective feedback. And I was making a lot of mistakes where, someone could have easily pointed them out and I didn't, because I didn't get that chance because I was all on my own,
Yeah. And that's the exact opposite of how I started, because I chose the very structured path of higher education. And I saw it through. I got my degree in Chinese, but the structure is good. That's the good side of it, is that every day you show up and somebody tells you what to do, and there is at least a teacher at the front of the class that you can ask a question to. But the problem is the methods. There's none of those self-study methods that you found online that they're using. They use very traditional methods, textbooks, and it's really boring. And so, that was sort of our two starting points.
Me and Phil have been friends for a long time, and whilst we were learning Chinese in our respective different paths, we shared a lot of different techniques. I shared with you, you shared with me, along with lots of tools for learning and stuff like that. And after we had both passed the HSK 6, which is the highest level of the only recognized exam for Chinese for Westerners, we thought, we're onto something here. We passed this exam in 2 years of part-time study, and it should take 4 years of full-time study. So that's about 25% of the time. So we thought, okay, we have devised these methods, or we found these incredible methods for learning. Let's develop them further and let's share them with the local community.
Right, exactly. So you could think of it as like we had this vision of, all right, structure is good, like what higher education gave me, but the content was bad. And the content of what you were finding was good, but when you were first looking for it was hard to figure out what's the good stuff, what's the bad stuff. So we thought, all right, what if you could combine the two? What if you could have a structured curriculum where it's using the best new self-study techniques? And so that was our vision, and that was almost 3 years ago now.
So we thought, let's create a blueprint, hence the name, for the entirety of Chinese learning. So anyone can look at this blueprint, a plan, and it says, do this first, then do this. It's a step-by-step guide along with all the tools and memory techniques and study techniques that you need to tackle every stage of learning Chinese.
Right, because you need the assurance of the structure, because on a big project like this, you can't tell day to day whether or not you're making progress necessarily. So you need to know, okay, I'm confident that I'm making progress that is actually going to help me, but it's also not so dull and boring and just like, let me look at this article in a textbook again that's just nothing to do with my interests. So that was our idea here, and since then we've made blog posts, podcasts, video courses where pronunciation, characters, vocabulary, grammar, we're trying to make it as comprehensive as we can so that you can just have a one-stop shop. And it's something we're still working on. We're going to be constantly working on for many years to come, but that's sort of how it's developed.
And these tools and techniques we're talking about, as well as the overall plan, it's not just something we've plucked out of the air. It's based on top linguistic research, as well as literally hundreds of hours of our own live sessions. We've been doing this for 3 years. We've taught over 250 clients this entire course, and now we're finally ready to share it with the world.
So the best way to keep updated on our newest releases, whether it's a whole new video course or just a blog post, head over to mandarinblueprint.com. And if you're just a beginner or you're somebody who's been studying Chinese for a long time, I guarantee you're going to find some valuable stuff there.
And if you just want to get in contact with us, ask us a question or anything like that, just get in touch on support@mandarinblueprint.com.